welcome back everybody. So day 5 here at the Tarifa Kite Pro, the GKA Kite World Cup. Beautiful location at Tarifa. I mean, we're having all different types of weather patterns here. In the booth with me now, the man behind the lens, Valdevaqueros. Really good to have you here, Idva. We see all of your image, all of the photography that you've been doing for the tour. How is it also to be in front of the lens?
It doesn't happen a lot, eh? But yes, it's all right.
It's all right. It's all right. I mean, like we were saying, day 5 here at the Tarifa Kite Pro. Today we've woken up and it's cloudy. We even had a little bit of rain this morning, and I think looking at it, it looks like maybe that will help us out today. I mean, we have a lot of heats to do. It's going to be pretty cram-packed, pretty busy. I know yourself is going to be very busy capturing all those key moments. I can see, a lot of the riders are starting to get nervous. We're all nervous because we know how much has to be done in the last 2 days. Tarifa hasn't been pulling in the goods this year.
Yeah, it was very cloudy this morning, and the wind was literally coming from every direction. I've seen it offshore, I've seen it onshore, but yeah, it looks like it's kind of clearing up, and there was a little breeze. I saw somebody going, although he's off the water again, with an 11, but yeah, it could happen.
It definitely could happen. It will happen. We're hoping it will happen. But you've been the tour photographer for a couple of years now, and you one of the most world-renowned photographers in the kiting industry. It's two different animals being a photographer in a competition scene where you kind of have to capture those moments. It only happens once, and then doing a lot of the product shoots as well, which I'm not going to say which do you prefer, but there must be different points of view and different stress points for both sides.
Yeah, so it's a completely different thing if you compare a proper product photo shoot and a competition. First of all, during the competition, you don't have the action in your hands, so you basically have to register what you get, and during a product photo shoot you can actually set up things and you can communicate with the riders, and you have a certain shot in your mind and you can actually create that shot. And the competition, you just get what you get, and the challenge is to be creative in that space.
Yeah, and also without being too on top of the riders, because a lot of the riders here, they're in competition mode. I think it's one of the things I really like about your photography is the lifestyle, like we're always talking about, and capturing that vibe, that passion, those essences. Sometimes I even think it's nicer than product shoots because you really get the people in their element.
So yeah, what I always try during a competition is tell the whole story, and for me that's not only about the action, it's everything that happens beside of the action. People being concentrated, setting up their gear, interacting with other riders. I want to tell the whole story, and it's more like a documentary kind of way than an actual photo shoot.
Yeah, you're telling a story through images. I think that's, in the end, that's what a photographer and artist wants to do with capturing those moments and being able to show other people who look at that today, tomorrow, in 10 years, in 20 years, and still be able to feel the emotions, not just see an individual picture.
Yeah, absolutely. So sometimes you see me walking around on the beach just with a small camera and a single lens, and just try to get in the moments and try to get those little try to capture those little moments and not only the action.
Yeah, I mean, it must be hard as well because, so many competitions. We're really happy, with the GKA Kite World Cup and the World Tour. We have events all over the world. I think, we can consider ourselves very privileged to be able to travel, go to all these beautiful locations. But not every competition is always beautiful and sunny and blue waters. You really have to, take what comes and be able to get what you can from those situations. Me personally, I really do like the, black and white, the really grainy, a lot of noise photos. For me, it just, let's say the picture perfect blue skies, crystal water. Almost it's been overused, and it's good to see a lot of personality like we do in your photography.
So yeah, some of the spots have blue water and blue skies, but as you said, not every spot is actually that beautiful, but in some way they are kind of beautiful, and even brown water or cloudy conditions can be very nice to take photos of. and I really like to play with black and white as well in those like more intimate portrait kind of moments. So yeah, it's like you just have to look at the spot and see. You don't want to fake it. You want to show how it actually is.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, you know, also with photography, there's kind of two different people from my understanding. You have the photographer who really wants to, like you say, show it as he is, so with the least post editing of the photo as possible, and then there's actually people who shoot to then be able to use a lot of the editing. Try and explain us a little bit about this.
So obviously I edit my photos as well, and that's not the secret, and I enhance certain parts, but I try to stay close to the reality and not over exaggerate. And yeah, as long as it is real and pure, it's fine for me. And there's other photographers that like to like completely change a background or a sky. It's not really my style, but yeah.
Equally is respectable,
Yeah,
but just it's different ways how people work. I mean, yourself, you shoot all different industries. You just said to me you're going to go on a bike trip in the Alps after here. I can imagine that's going to be a little bit more laid back, a nice trip, and also that I think on those laid back types of shoots, we've seen you in a lot of the mystic shoots. That's where those emotional images come from, because everybody is, you know, in their vibe, in their mojo, just chilling. And as a photographer, is that the kind of scenarios you try to replicate in all situations?
I think so. Well, that type of photography suits me very well, and I really like to not. Well, maybe you create those moments, but those moments are real, and you don't force the riders to be in that moment. It's like it's actually happening on that.
Just let it flow.
Exactly, and then you capture that moment. I really like that style of photography. It's not set up. It's what actually happens.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like we're saying, it is exactly what is happening out there. And I mean, you know, what's happening out there today, you know, day 5 here in Tarifa, it's cloudy, it's a little cold, it's a little, you know, there's all different weather fronts coming through. We've seen in the Northern Europe, there's been a huge heat waves with places like Madrid with 40 plus degrees. I think that's making a difference. We were talking to Jaime, that I know he's got all the Italian mafia going off and trying to explode a couple of ice caps to see if he can drop the temperature and see, you know, we're trying all different angles to make Tarifa prevail. Tarifa, I mean, also this is the beauty of Mother Nature. You know, if it was easy, I don't think it'd be fun. And I think it's, you know, part of the sport is the ways, and part of the sport is we are, you know, borrowing the elements from Mother Nature, and, you know, sometimes she gives and sometimes she doesn't.
Yeah, what actually quite cool is, like, I just see this now happening. People was very interested in taking photos, and she came up to me like, can I take a couple of photos? And she's actually taking some photos of us now sitting here.
That's cool.
And a side of photography that I really like is like sharing my experience, and if a rider is interested like that in photography, I'm happy to like explain them like a little couple of things and let them maybe get in those intimate moments, because they're in it all the time, and we'll see what it's actually gonna bring.
I think we're gonna see some good photos, but I think it's also good for the rider to have, you know, you do, like we were saying, you do a lot of the you know, the big brand shoots, a lot of the product shoots, and more, you know, so catted, orientated, you know, all of the, you know, the new gear, so you have to get the certain board, the certain kite, the certain bar in focus, this, that, the other. I think it's also important for professional athletes like we have here in Tarifa during this event, that they have photography knowledge, so that when you talk to them, hey, I'm using this lens, you know, I need you to be jumping this close, or this is the idea we have, so they don't go blank. They actually have an understanding, and, you know, with doing stuff like you said with people that is behind the lens, I presume she will have a better understanding in front of the lens if she gets into it.
Absolutely. So different from photos during the competition, obviously. During product shoots, you communicate with the rider, and the more they understand about taking a photo, they can also understand if you talk to them what you try to visualize and how you picture the photo, where you see them in the frame, how high they have to jump, how far they have to jump. So yeah, if they have a certain understanding about photography, that will definitely help them in creating better photos with the photographer.
And I presume also from your side, being the official photographer for the GKA World Tour, and on especially, all the brand photography that you do, to be able to have seen all the new moves as they happen and be kind of like at the top of the competition level must help you as well to be able to say, you know what, I need you to be doing this maneuver here because we need to be seeing this board or that part, and in the end, the more knowledge, the better things go.
Yeah, so for me it's also important to have a certain knowledge about kite surfing, like how certain rotations go, how you can change your body position to show that little bit extra of the top of the board or the bottom of the board, and what kind of tricks they're actually able to do and what looks better on photos. It's always like I have to have an understanding about kite surfing and they have to have an understanding about photography. That helps a lot.
Of course. No, for sure. And talking a little bit of equipment, I've seen your camera bag. It has all the toys and just keeps getting bigger and bigger. You have the super big lenses, small ones, the macros. The 50 mils, all of these to get all those depths of field, all the photography that we see throughout all the magazines and the images that we have from you. But you seem to be a very active photographer out there. You will go in the water, you will go, stand and shooting from the beach. Do you have a preferred type of photography, or is everything good?
I try to get as much different angles as possible. So I try to be diverse in either like shooting from the land, shooting from the water, or use the drone. I kind of like shooting from the water because for me it's a very active way of taking photos. So I would say I prefer that. But in the end, if you go through your photos of the day, it's nice to have like a big range of different photos. It makes it also more interesting to watch.
Of course. And as your profession is a photographer, when you go on a holiday, a trip for yourself, what is the lens you take? Because I presume you less is more, and I always have that question is when photographers go on holiday, do they take the whole quiver or do they just take one or two?
So it actually doesn't happen a lot that I go on a holiday where I don't bring camera gear.
That has to change.
So that definitely has to change. I would say if I go on a holiday and only had to bring like one camera and one lens, I think I would stick to either a 30. I have different phases. Like if I buy a new lens, I stick to that lens for a while and then change it again. But definitely for like a travel photography, one lens setup, a 35mm or a 50mm.
Yeah. Those are really nice. The depth of field you get with them, you can really grain it out, and that's. I personally, really love that kind of photography because it emphasizes what you have in front of you, but then all the stuff behind, kind of like you're saying, says that story, and it shows all different levels. Yeah,
35, you would struggle a little bit on portraits, but if you put the portrait in its surrounding, it's actually a very nice focal length to shoot with, and the 50 might be a little bit better for portraits. But maybe sometimes like a 50 is nice because you can stay a little bit further away and still be intimate in the photo.
The 35, you really have to be up front and center.
Yeah. You have to have the communication skills and know how to approach people to get that proper shot.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've always seen. Like, obviously we travel together throughout the tour, you always seem to be able to go into a crowd with your camera and move yourself and to get those shots. And like you're saying, that's quite, some people are quite intimate when it comes to how, if they want to be on the photo or not. How do you deal with those situations? Is it just go in open-minded and just trying to give off a good vibe so they enjoy it, or how do you come about that?
Well, first of all, like you try to be part of it. and most of the time I just walk around without taking a photo for the first 5 minutes till they kind of get used to you, and then you like slowly start to take photos, and it's kind of important to stay somehow invisible as a photographer.
Of course.
Otherwise, those moments just don't
There's
happen.
a barrier.
Probably those like post moments where they throw shakas and that kind of stuff. That does happen in front of the camera, but those like real moments, that are the moments you're looking for.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially like, here we're at competitions, and I think a key moment of competitions is the podiums, and that moment when in between first and second, and they get the info of you're the champion, you just come second. To be able to capture that, sometimes it's hard. We do have now everything's getting more technological. There's more mobile devices, everything involved, the live scoring. Sometimes a lot of people says it loses the essence, but I still think, with all the technical advantages, we can still capture those moments if you can be there right time at the right place.
Yeah, you have to be there at the right time at the right place. And also sometimes, talking about the podium, the most cool photos actually happen just before the podium or after the podium.
Yeah.
And that are, like, for me, the
key moments,
more important moments to be there.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. Especially when there's a podium, the emotion you have around there. All the different countries, all the different nationalities. Like we've had here, more than 30 nationalities here at this event. Almost 90 riders. Really good. One of the things we've been talking about also, Idva, is at this event here in Tarifa, it's a combination event. It's actually one of the first times we've seen the two families come together, and from what I've been seeing throughout the week, and having both of them, the let's say the kite surf and the freestyle guys and girls mixing together, it looks like the family is starting to be joined.
Yeah, for me it's like quite funny to watch. It's been a while that I shot a freestyle event, and it's quite cool to see riders from the freestyle interact with riders from the strapless freestyle. And what I've heard is that, like, some of them don't even know each other, and they're both professional kite surfers, and apparently they're very interested in each other and in each other's discipline. I even heard like freestyle riders wanted to compete in strapless freestyle. Well, I think that's very cool.
I think it's awesome, and and vice versa. Like, all of us started kiting, we let's say Mito Monteiro. Everybody, I think, in the kiting industry, if you've been on a twin tip, a strapless board or four, everybody knows who people like that are, and that's what we are looking for, and what we're trying to produce with this tour is to produce those ambassadors, is to produce those overall champions on and off the water.
Yeah, well, if you see Mito Monteiro, it's just a friendly guy in general, but he is a true legend if it comes down to like kite surfing.
Yeah, the stats.
Yeah, and it's very cool to like see the younger generation freestylers interact with him and talk about kiting and talk with him about like where is it actually going.
Yeah, and
it's super interesting.
It's good to see the new generations. They, like you say, comes from a different discipline, and then you suddenly see some of the freestylers, and it's like they're almost seeing not a hero, but they're seeing a person that they've grown up through their kiting career, meeting him for the first time. And I think that's really important. We've been talking a lot about on the stream is that how giving information down and kind of passing on the thing, kind of like you were saying here with people. People, one of our best kiters out there, suddenly has interest for photography, so you're there to help her out, to give her a little bit of the inside info, and try and do your best to point her in the direction, so she can probably mature as a person in general.
Yeah. I think that's the great thing about like sharing the experience. To give it to the next generation, and yeah, that's the only way we can like carry on, basically.
Yeah, I think it is the only way we can carry on. It is, that's what we're kind of looking for, and I think that's the idea here. The GKA Kite World Tour is to, one big family.
Yeah, we want to be one big family and make kite surfing bigger in general. Doesn't matter what discipline it is.
Exactly, and to be able to showcase that at an event like here in Tarifa, the Tarifa Kite Pro 2019. I think it's a good place to do it. Hopefully
we
the
get
wind
some
will
wind.
pick up.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have some wind. As you can see, quite cloudy out there.
It's teasing us.
Not too many bikinis on the beach right now. It's more hoodie weather right now. But anyway, we are very anxious with, you know, double fingers, everything is crossed. It's great to have you here in the booth. I mean,
Thanks
really,
for having me.
I'm really nice to see you in front of the lens and see the perspective of how, you know, you go about getting those shots, and what through your photography and through your, you know, that artist side of it, how you can produce the goods that you do. And honestly, man, amazing shots, and you always make us look way better than we are. So yeah, one more time, thanks for having you in the booth.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, it looks like hopefully we'll have some wind, so you're going to be running down on the beach with the
Get my
amount of
stuff
heat
ready.
you have. But yeah, so we're going to go to a short commercial break. Let's see if the wind comes up. Hopefully it will, and we'll be right back.
We create concepts and legends.
Thanks. That's nice.
That's cool.
Innovation and progression are in our DNA. From the sky to the surf, we are setting the tone. Creating history with a future. We are true kiteboarding. We are Duotone.
And welcome back. So day 5 here at the GKA Kite World Cup here in Tarifa Kite Pro 2019. Unfortunately today, wind doesn't look like it's here quite yet. We've had some very unusual weather patterns here in Tarifa. I'm a local from Tarifa. Very unusual for it not to be windy. Very unhappy that it isn't windy. This place has more than 250 days of wind a year. It's probably one of the most consistent windy places known on this planet and one of the best kiting locations, European and worldwide. But unfortunately, Murphy's Law, so far with the competition, we haven't had the best wind, been able to milk and squeeze every little drop of the fruit so far. Yesterday had some action-packed freestyle heats on the water. We had the likes of, Adeudi Corniel getting 9.5s, for a slim 9, up in the 9 averages of the heat. And we can see how the guys and the girls pull off maneuvers in lighter winds. They're doing doubles and triples. Really good to see how the sport has evolved. Thanks to their level, their talent, and thanks to the equipment these days. It's amazing, how you can kite with pretty much anything. We've seen foils, we've seen, people out there just chilling, people out there then kind of coming into the strapless. Then they went for the freestyle boards as well. It's really good to see how the sport is diversifying and is just getting bigger and bigger. Yesterday, super important heats out there. Everybody was on fire. Like I mentioned, Adeudi Corniel, probably one of the best heats out there. We saw the likes of Stefan Spielberger also going through to the next rounds. A few of the, Nicolas Delmas also very tough heat at the end there. We made it all the way through to heat number 4 of the freestyle, and unfortunately there the wind started to die and we had to cancel that heat. What happened in that heat, we will keep the first 3 scores and the rest of the scores are going to be cut because the conditions were not suitable. Had the riders meeting this morning, everybody agreed, and that's what's going to be going down. So now, hopefully the thermal winds here in Tarifa will prevail. Tarifa, as we were mentioning, very, very weather dependent, very hard to predict here. I would not want to be the weatherman, and to be honest, from living here since I was 5 years old, came over here with my family from England, and this is my hometown. So many different factors make Tarifa windy. So how can we at least try and predict what would happen? Normally this time of the year it's very warm. This is the southern coast of Spain, so you're up in the 25s, 30 degrees Celsius. That heats up the earth. The cold air from the water comes in as it gets warmer and warmer and creates this thermal effect. That's what's been happening over the last few days. We've been able to have 2 days of wind. Let's not forget day 3 and day 4 of the competition. We were able to get through the single elimination of the strapless with Carla Herrera coming out on top and get through the first 2 rounds of the strapless men as well. So they were able to make the most of that thermal wind to be able to utilize it and be able to get out on the water. But today we're a little bit worried. It's woken up and it's very cloudy. Some people will say this is actually a good thing because it means the temperature is a little lower. Maybe the component behind the clouds that we have will push through and we get solid poniente wind. What is poniente? Tarifa has 2 main wind directions. You have the levante. The levante is the super strong, nuclear, back from the days of the windsurfing, the speed, that's the 40 knots that will literally blow your car and off of its wheels. And then we have the poniente, which is the cross onshore from the right, a little bit more mellow, a little bit more constant, and that's what we've been having the last few days. Not as much as we want though, but today I know Tarifa will prevail for us. But still amazing, like I was saying, to see how the sports are evolving and how the different formats of the competitions here at this Tarifa Kite Pro, we've been able to see the disciplines of freestyle, twin tip freestyle, the new school freestyle, and the strapless disciplines coming together under one roof. And for newcomers into the sport and people, I've been talking to a few people on the beach, it's such a show to see because it's like when people are on their foils, then suddenly there's a guy and a girl on a surfboard doing front rolls with no straps, it's not attached to their feet. Then suddenly they see the likes of like Liam Whaley or Michaeli Sol doing these double handle passes, spinning and just going crazy fast and landing as if there's no tomorrow. I think it's a really good spectacle for people here on the beach. Tarifa, once again, one of the most world-renowned places when it comes to kite surfing. Kiting here has been part of the culture. events like the Sky Ride in 1999, the likes of Flash Austin, Robbie Nash, all the heroes, Max, all of the heroes here, and even our event organizer Jaime Raez was in that competition and was one of the rookies at that event. It's good to see how much of the kiting culture sticks with this place, and this is why we want to look after it and be able to enjoy these beautiful beaches. I can feel a little breeze. It looks like the sun's getting a little hotter here. Hopefully that will make the thermals come in, because we are going to start again with the men's freestyle. We'll be going into heat number 4, redoing the last 3 tricks of that heat to see who will win, because as we said, our race director, we want it to be suitable. It was very marginal yesterday, so all had a meeting to make sure that the guys and girls can perform their best, but at least in suitable conditions. As I say, anxious, waiting here in the booth, want this win to come. Please, we want this win to come today, because this being my hometown, I want Tarifa to be put on the map yet again with a contest like this, and having the best of the best out there and all of the top riders from all the discipline. It's such a pleasure to be able to share my hometown with them. So yeah, hopefully we'll be coming back. I want you guys to stay tuned. We will be constantly doing updates. At the moment, we're going to go for a 15-minute break, but then we'll be coming back with another update, getting a few more people, a little bit more behind the scenes, a couple of interviews, keeping it rolling, and then hopefully by doing that, the wind will start rolling in and the action will start. So yeah, I'm Josie Asher. We'll be back very soon, and we're just going to go for a short break.
Maybe I should take off the...
So welcome back. It is day 5 here at the GKA Kite World Cup in Tarifa. The Tarifa Kite Pro. Sitting in the booth here with me, we have the Secretary General, Jürgen Wolf. Jürgen, welcome. Thanks for being here at this event and, in this beautiful location of Tarifa.
It is always beautiful. It's pumping, except the wind. The wind is not pumping.
It's not pumping. Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, like we were saying, day 5, we've had 2 days of wind, day 3 and day 4. We were able to get through the single elimination of the ladies, Carla Herrera coming out on top. We got through a couple of rounds of the strapless of the men, so we do have an official result there, but we want to get it all the way through to the podium. I know my hometown Tarifa is not going to leave us without wind here, Jürgen. And then, we did four heats of the men's twin tip freestyle. Beautiful thing about this event is the joint disciplines. I think it's very important to be able to see the expression of what kiteboarding and kite surfing, kiting is here on the southernmost peak of Europe of what is Tarifa.
Yeah, that is once again Tarifa is the birthplace for something new, and it's the first time that both disciplines covered by and run by the GKA Kite World Tour are at the same World Cup, run at the same World Cup. And it's very good to see that all professional riders from the different disciplines are working so friendly and closely together and show that it's indeed one sports family, one water sports family, and that it's very, very nice to see. And I think for the spectators, but also for the sponsors and all stakeholders involved, it is good to show the complete variety of the sport, which will happen, and when we have got wind, and happened in the last 2 days when we had some wind.
I got the button here, I'm pushing it, I'm punching it, I'm slamming it. We are going to be having some wind. Exactly what you say there, Jürgen. I think the word we've been using throughout the last few days is the family. The family vibe. It's really good, and I think it's really nice to see the different disciplines mixing in and off, on and off the water, getting to know each other. Some of especially, let's say on the twin tip freestyle side, there's a lot of younger groms coming up, and on the strapless side we have the likes, people like Mito Monteiro, who you can see. These youngsters have grown up watching images of him, watching how this guy portrays and what a champion he is. And I think it's really good to just see how, kind of like passing the information down and, getting that new grom search, those new kiters, and even people who aren't even kiters yet to enjoy this beautiful sport.
Yeah, I think both disciplines deserve their appreciation. And mostly you start with twin tip riding because it's a little bit easier if you have got straps, and it is really amazing what the twin tip freestyle riders are able to do. I think it is somehow limited to an age. In my age,
we're not that old. We're not that old. We can.
But strapless freestyle and wave riding offers such a great variety of the sport to enjoy the sport until, I don't know, if you're 70, 80, whatever.
It's only a number. Only a number.
It's only a number, and that is very good to see that the young people watching this competition are in the same way interested in both disciplines. And we don't have waves here, so it's all about freestyle with straps and without straps. But it is very, very exciting to watch for sure.
It is really exciting, and to be able to see some of the maneuvers that these young ladies and young men are performing in these conditions. Like we had yesterday, we saw a little bit of the twin tip freestyle. We had the likes of like Adeoli Corniel. He was getting 9.5s, doing slim 9s, backside 315s, backside 317s, as if there was no tomorrow. And it's really, I think, one of the big advantages now with the sport especially is how the equipment also has evolved, and how now the garage just has to be bigger, Jürgen, more toys in the garage, and more time on the water.
Yes, that is indeed a fact. When I started kite surfing, I have got a windsurfing background. I said, man, what a release. I don't have to carry so much equipment anymore to the airport. But now actually it ends up with more equipment. I think especially all the kites and all the products made a big step forward in the matter of safetiness. When I started kite surfing, I think it was 2001, 2002. There was no release, there was no deep power, there was, if you made a mistake, you were dragging away, frothing the whole beach.
Ben Hur down the beach.
Exactly. And now it's a really, really safe sport, and actually everybody can train and practice it if the wind is blowing, and also the range of the wind speed allows the new products to go kite surfing more or less at any wind. If there is very little wind, then you go more on foiling. You need some advanced skills to do it, but you can do it with on a very light breeze. That's why this discipline will most likely become the official Olympic discipline from 2020.
Awesome.
Onwards, the next Olympic Games in Paris after Tokyo. In Tokyo, it is a show event. On the IOC didn't decide it yet whether it will be freestyle wave or race, but I think it will be a hydrofoil race.
That's great.
And so you can do this at light wind condition, and you can go on strong wind like big air, and that gives you the opportunity to go into the water. Doesn't matter how the conditions look like, and that is also the beauty of the sport. You are depending on the sport, on the weather conditions, but the new products give you the chance of a wide variety of doing this sport.
Wide variety of fun. That's, I think, is, in the end, all of us, water sports, the using the elements to be able to enjoy ourselves out there, I think, is one of the main goals when it comes to water sports, and it has a special essence, a special energy. Anybody who touches the water knows what we feel, and if you haven't touched the water yet, make sure you get out there, because some of the best memories I have myself is, surfing with my father and just being able to get up there and be there in the water. And it's something that, if I'm a father one day, I'd like to enjoy. And I think it's super important to, some of those family values which we try to bring into the tour as well, is that the older, more veteran people, kind of show the youngsters to come up and to continue the tribal spirit.
Yes, that is definitely the case. Actually, I appreciate the situation with my sons right now. So I'm very happy to keep them a little bit away from the football ground and bringing them more into water. They're very keen of getting surfing, windsurfing, kite surfing, whatever toy is available. And I think Tarifa is a perfect place to show. It's not called by accident the capital of wind in Europe and the capital of the windsurf sport or kitesurf sport. You can see that yesterday we have had decent wind to run a couple of heats, and a little bit further down outside of the competition area, I don't know, I couldn't count, but there were at least 200 kite surfers in the water, and there you see how popular it is. And I went down the beach and I had a look at what kind of people are doing this, and I think between 9 and 70 everybody was there. I was a little bit depressed by the 9 years old doing handle passes. I tried so many years. It was
such is life. Such is life. I mean, definitely, like, you've competed before in windsurfing, like you were saying. I come from a kiting competition background as well. I think, unfortunately, the groms, there's always going to be a grom knocking on your door, and the maneuvers that they are doing these days, I think, back in my day we couldn't even think of it. And it's really great to see how our ambassadors, which is what we want our riders to be, how they've pushed the sport and keep on pushing.
Yeah, sometimes you think it doesn't work in the terms of physics. It is how does it work that what they are doing. Sometimes at some moves they break boards, and you think, okay, that is not an average maneuver, but it's really interesting to see how they push the limits. And that's why it is so nice to have the live stream as well, that everybody who's not able to attend these great events has nevertheless to get it at your home computer to watch it. Even if we will not, and that is, I like to use that opportunity to make it clear, we will not have live stream at all events. So we got some the social media asking why we haven't had live stream at the last event in Gran Canaria, for instance, or why we haven't had live stream in Germany, which was a great event as well. Categories of the events, we have 5, 4 and 3 stars, and only the 5-star events have secured live stream. We try to make it happen, but it's also at the end of the day a matter of the budget, and yeah, we try to improve that part, but some events are not covered by live stream.
Well, that means obviously we're gonna, like Jürgen says, we're trying to improve bit by bit, but at least that way you don't have to listen to me at every single live stream, so it gives them a little bit of a break as well.
You make a good job. Compliments.
But yeah, you know, we need to. I think this is one of the things that the GKA has been doing very well. You know, there's been a lot of mixed feelings about a lot of tours over the last few years, like me coming back from the PKA back in the day. Then we had all of the go out as see there's a little bit of structure in the professional athletes and the brand. And there is a calendar with settings are forewarned and confirmed with enough time for the riders to be able to make a planning and then go to
wave event should take or location the chance to get the freestyle spots should take place where we have got flat water, but that is an ideal world. People, it doesn't make sense. We're in the middle of nowhere where we have the most perfect conditions, but nobody is this event. And on the other side, the negotiations for the events with the organizers, with the municipalities, with the host cities, they are on a continuing process, and we try to inform the riders as soon as possible about the event tour calendar. But sometimes it takes a while, and then they have to be ready on the short notice.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the hard things for organisers and for the tourists, especially these short notice things, and to be able to put together events. It might seem easy to just go to a location, get an event set up, but I think not a lot of people know all of the back office, all of the hours, all of the permits, the budgets, getting the right people, the teams together to be able to make an event happen. But Jürgen, now you can see our lamp of the wind picking up. I can see a little bit of wind and some white caps there on the back. So hopefully this might mean the start of day 5 here. So if we do start, we're going to be starting with heat number 4 of the twin tip freestyle. So hopefully we'll be able to see the boys in action. So Jürgen, thank you very much for being in here with the booth with us. It's been great talking to you, get some of the inside views. Great to have you here at the event. And one more time, thank you from us, from the organization, for having the GK and putting this at my local break here in Tarifa. Can't wait to see next year is going to be bigger and better.
Thank you very much, Joe. And let's pray for wind, but be always optimistic.
Always optimistic, and we are definitely going to be praying for wind. So yeah, we're going to be back very shortly, just going to see if that wind is going to be coming in. So yeah, we're just going to go through a few commercials break. We'll be on standby, and hopefully it will be the start of the GKA Kite Surf World Cup here in Tarifa, the Tarifa Kite Pro 2019. And we're back. So day 5 of the GKA Kite World Cup here in Tarifa, the Tarifa Kite Pro 2019. Finally, the wind is here. It's been a little bit cold during the morning. We're here in the booth, got the hoodies up. Sitting in the booth here with me is Val. Val, unfortunately, you couldn't compete in your heats. I heard you had a little bit of a knee injury. Took the decision, I think an intelligent decision to not push it too hard to get better and then to come back even stronger.
Yeah, it's always hard to pull out of the competition, but yeah, it's part of the game. I injured my knee a bit in Le Cat, and I tried to kite again Tarifa, and before the comp I didn't feel my knee right or ready to go 100%, so I just decided to pull back and ready to be 100% for the next one.
Yeah, I mean it's a hard decision for an athlete when it comes to injuries, but I think it's an intelligent one, and it's better to play it safe, get out there and come back, and to be able to perform like some of these guys are here performing today. So we are in the round 1 of the freestyle. Heat number 4 yesterday got cancelled on the 5th trick, if I'm not mistaken, and so what the judges have decided to do with the riders committee is to go from trick number 4. So this would be the 4th trick attempt here for Robert James on the screen now, so it means they still have 4 more attempts to get that 7 trick count.
Yeah, exactly, because the conditions were starting to get really light yesterday, and they were waiting to see if the wind was coming back, but then they took the decision to cancel the heat at the 6 tricks, but the last 3 attempts were not good enough. I mean, the wind was pretty light, so they decided to start from the 3rd tricks.
I think that's a good decision. I mean, it is hard when conditions are marginal. You want it to be as fair as possible. And here we have Mahmoud going for, that looked like a double Hinterberger 5. Is that right, Val?
Yeah, exactly. Double Hinterberger mob 5. Pretty good one. And let's see how it's gonna score. Maybe the kite was a bit high, but still a good landing. Yeah, so that's why you have to, when you watch the tricks, you have to watch the execution, the landing, the amplitude, the technicality, but as well the position of the kite is really matter. If you have the kite at 12, then for sure it's gonna score less. If you have the kite really in front of you, then it's had more power, more technicality as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all the judges are looking for quality over quantity. It's not spin to win at these, GKA events. We want to see those grabs, like you're saying, the amplitude, the tweaking, paying attention to all the little details to making the simple and hard tricks just look better.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. You still need to spin a little bit, but no, we're going back as well to the execution, like good grabs, good tricks. Every detail counts, for sure. And now it's Nicolas Delmas to turn to jump. I think he's going to go for Interberger 5 or something like that.
Nicolas Delmas, you spend a lot of time with him. I like it. You're already saying his tricks. So Nicolas Delmas there, F1 rider, coming in very strong. Looks like we're just following Karima at the moment there, but we want to be following Nicolas and see him at the side of our booth. Going to be interesting to see what he does. This would be his 4th attempt. As we stand at the moment, Nicolas is in 3rd position after 3 attempts. Had a very high scoring from back mode 5 yesterday. Nice amount of style, really extends it, does that full back roll rotation, and then really does that nice front side 3. That's the kind of moves that I really like.
Yeah, it's really nice. All the mobs, like mob 5 from blind mobs, they're like, when they're well executed, it's really nice to watch. It's like a nice movement, and like adding just this 120 rotation more. It's like passing from the back mob to the back mob 5. It's a huge gap as well already. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a hard one. I mean, you can still see conditions are a little bit light there. Not too easy to get it, but I can see the corner of my eye here. We're looking for Nicolas Delmas. Camera 1 should be on Nicolas Delmas out there.
And we've seen a lot of clouds today. Is it not very common for Tarifa in summer, right?
It isn't common for Tarifa. This is my hometown, and I'm not happy with this. We want the sun, we want the girls in the bikinis on the beach, giving you guys all the extra motivation, and also the motivation for the girls as well. A lot of good-looking guys. It has to be both sides, but that's what we want. We want to see the sun, people coming out, shouting, giving every little ounce, and to get the world's best of the best to do their best performance here.
Yeah, for sure. But at least today we have the win. So
At least we have that. The wind is that. And talking about, we were mentioning about that double Hinterberger 5 there. He got a 6.97, so that's a good score. And considering for that move, he had the style. Obviously, judges are taking into account the wind, so they know that they have to position the kite a little bit higher to be able to get the height. Good to see how the judges are scoring that. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah, it's pretty fair. I think the judges know their job, but it was a pretty good one actually. We didn't see, on the screens the kite position, but on the water, maybe the judges were seeing more than us, and I think it was a pretty good one. He might be really stuck with this score.
Yeah, he must be pretty happy. I mean, it's taken him into first position. Maxime Chavelot trailing by literally 0.3 of a point, so very close there. Maxime Chavelot, F1 rider, also junior world freeride skiing champion, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, in freeride, this guy is incredible. Like I remember Maxime trying his first double handle pass in Brazil a few years ago, and I don't know, he had like such a fast progression. Like he improved so fast, he learned all the doubles, and with his coach Fabio and all the new generation coming with Valentin Rodriguez, all those guys, and they're like really pushing the level of freestyle. Hey, it's good to have a new generation like this, really pushing the level really high, and it's also motivating us to move our ass.
Yeah, that's it. It's motivating to move your ass, but obviously we don't want you landing on your ass because we don't want the butt checks. We want the clean landing. That's what it's about. I mean, here we have on screen front and center Nicolas Dalmas. He is in third possession at the moment. If he wants to get first, he needs a 3.12 to move into that second position, a 2.78. Early days in the heat, though, those numbers are simple numbers for a guy like Dalmas. So going to be interesting to see. Looks like he's utilizing that outside of the box to try and get a little bit more.
He's going for his tricks. It's going to be a backside 5. I missed the backside 5.
315, not quite getting the landing. Why do you think, Val, he's using the outside of the box? It looks like there's a little bit more wind out there.
I think there's a bit more wind on the outside because the wind is really crucial today. So I think like the farthest you go, maybe you got a cleaner wind when you go a bit far. But with the cloud and stuff, maybe the wind is a bit changing direction sometimes, and you need to find your gust, and as soon as you got it, you just go for your tricks. And you also need to deal with the chop, like when it's choppy like this in the water, you're really looking at the chops, and Maxime is going for earth attack 5. I don't know.
Shame. That's going to be a crash. I mean, he did bounce out. Sometimes landing these blind maneuvers, they come down with so much force that the water pretty much says, no, don't hit me that hard, and they spit you back out.
Exactly. That's why, like, as well on chop, you need sometimes a bit of luck, like landing on a good flat spur on the water, and he maybe just land onto a chop, and you see like he has a good position. He was gonna land it, but he just bound out and fall in his back. So I think it's gonna be a crash or really low scores. Let's see how the judge gonna score it.
Yeah, we're just waiting for that score to be dropped, but I definitely think it's going to be a crash. So as you can see, images are a little far away at the moment because what we've had to do due to the thermal winds, there's not a lot of wind on the shore here in Tarifa, so the wind is a little bit further out. Thanks to our crew and to the water safety and our race director, what we've done is we've moved the box pretty much into the middle of the ocean, so that way we can assure to have the cleanest conditions, the best conditions to get out there. This is one of the things I really like about the age of today. You can see your brother there giving a little bit of examples, with the French team. He's giving them the inside. Your brother was competing even in my day, so he knows what he's doing. He's been there since day one, and telling Nicolas Dalmas here what he needs to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's why this is Seb Gart, my brother. He's now the coach of the French team, and it's cool. Like we now have a really strong French team. A lot of Frenchies on the tour this day. And it's cool to, with this format, to have support on the beach, that can take a bit of step back and like really look at what you need to do, because it's really tactical as well. You need a good tactic sometimes. You don't need just to go for your best tricks, but you have to look at how many points you need to be first, second, and play with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is all about playing with that. And on the screen we have Mahmoud. He is up next. Mahmoud is there. You can see him centered on screen. So he is going to be going for his, if I'm not mistaken, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trick attempts. So he's going to be, I correct myself. Yeah, 6 trick attempts. So he's got 2 more. Let's see what the young Egyptian rider has. Been riding very well in this, and at the moment in first position of this heat. Here he goes.
Backside 5.
Backside.
Wow, I just missed the bar.
Unfortunately, looks like it's a little choppy out there, and they're not quite being able to get so clean landings. But better than no wind on the inside, eh?
Yeah, for sure. I think you wanna replace this score of the if Slim Chen got a 3.9. You need to replace this score. But yeah, it's weird to see like Maxim and Nico, they went straight for doubles instead of securing a top 2, So I think they're really looking for the first place as well, because like if you come first or second, you go to the round 3 for sure. But the position matters for the later, Like if you come second, you're gonna be against 2 first. If you come first, you're just gonna be against 1 first and 2 second. So it can make a difference at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it looks like we changed out there too. That looked like Aaron was
nice one.
Jumping on the inside. Didn't quite see what trick.
I think it was a heart attack or a double heart attack. I'm not sure, but I think it was a heart attack. I just want to secure the top 2 first and then like go for the first one. I think that's what my brother told him on the beach.
Yeah, I mean, here we have Maxime Chaplot now. Going to be interesting to see what he's going for. Is he going to go for that first position, or is he going to play it safe? I wonder what your brother has told him to do.
I think my brother told Nico to play it safe, but no, Maxime got Fabio's calls advice, and I'm not sure. I think he's gonna. What scores does he need? Like Nico did a heart attack 6.
He needs a 7 and a bit for first.
I think he's gonna go.
I'd say he's gonna go for double.
Yeah, I think I would say he's gonna go for like there was a KGB, no?
KGB.
Yeah.
So KGB 5.8 average on had a nice little bit of a good amount of height there. Did get the inversion kite, in my opinion, a little bit high again. Judges being lenient because the conditions are like that. That's going to be an interesting score to see how they score that KGB.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get the points he need to be second. Yeah, we see. Yeah, he got a 5.7 for the KGB. And yeah, so now I think Nico is gonna put the pressure on Maxim, depend on what Kimo does. If Kimo needs a 7 to be first, so let's see.
Yeah, so we have now James who's coming up next as the next trick attempt. So it's going to be interesting to see where the ozone rider comes. James actually coming from Thailand. He is the wildcard entry for this event. Really great to see some of the guys from the Asian tour joining us. So there he goes for, I think he was probably looking for that backside 5, just unfortunately losing the bar on that first rotation. Had the height, really nice horizontal spin, but not quite passing the bar.
Yeah, and also like riding straps on this condition. I think he's the only rider riding straps for this competition. And when it's choppy, it's even harder to get a good pop, and for the landings it's like even worse. And yeah, so now it's gonna be a interesting end, like, cause let's see what Kimo is gonna do. If he got the 5.2, he's gonna get second, and a 6.87 for the first place. So I don't know if he's gonna look for the second place or the first place.
I mean, if it was me, I'd go for second place. The top 2 get through. He only has 1 trick attempt. Conditions are hard. Let's go back to Mahmoud out the back. You can see him tacking in there. So let's keep that image on Mahmoud, because he is the rider that's going to be jumping next. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, what we were mentioning before the streaming, as we've had to take the box so far out, so the image is going to be a little bit far away. But still, we're going to do our best to show you all the action and tell you exactly what's going on. So here we have the Egyptian Mahmoud coming in with speed. I'm going to call a slim 5.
You don't have the.
He's not going to be happy about that.
It looks like the wind is slowly dropping again. Let's see, cause now we have Max. Now we have Nicolas' turn. I think Nico's gonna go for the backside 5, just to secure his first place and put the pressure on Maxim's.
Nicolas Delmas, let's see, he's going with speed. Backside 5, he didn't land that on the last one. That would be a good trick to have.
And if he lands the backside 5, he's gonna like force Maxim to do like a really big scores to get first. So yeah, I reckon he's gonna go for the backside 5 if he gets the gust. Come on, Nico, go for it.
Come on, ale. You can see they really have to go in, gonna be having to go really far out for that. So it looks like he's going to... Okay, so he's turned around, so not backside 5, no. Well, you know it better than I do.
I think like because of the tricky conditions, judges are not going to force the riders to jump in 1 minute, Yes, they're going to let them do a few tacks. And I think he's going to just come back and find some wind on his way out to perform his scores. Because there was no point to jump if you don't feel the pressure on the bar and the wind on the kite, you don't even try because you know you're not gonna do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like we're saying, this is a box format, so what that means is each rider jumps. They have 7 trick attempts. The top 4 trick attempts count, like we were saying before. Judges are looking for amplitude, commitment, styles, all of the power, all of the little aspects, really making a trick as nice as possible. So the top 4 tricks are the one that gives them the score, and as you mentioned just right now, Val, is that you have to make the judges going to be lenient in that 1 minute transition just to make sure that we can get the best out of the best of the world's best here at the Tarifa Kite Pro.
Yeah, for sure. And like when we have perfect condition and like the wind is staying the same, for sure they are really strict on this 1 minute because some riders taking more time than others. But when it's like this, to be fair for everyone, you let the rider got the good gust, otherwise, if you force the rider like jumping when there is no wind and the other one got the good gust, then it become not fair. So yeah, that's why they're a bit more flexible on that.
Yeah,
tricky conditions.
I think that's a really important aspect as well of the tour now. As we can see, Dalmas is having a hard time trying to get upwind there, so obviously the wind outside is dropping off a bit, but we can see some white caps out the back. I think it's going to be like this all day, up, down, up, down. The important thing here is that we adapt to the conditions at hand. So you can see head judge Valdevaqueros there saying, okay, listen, normally it's a minute. We're going to give him some more time because he can see the conditions out there. We have, wind measures out the back to make sure that everything is suitable. And with that, all of that information together, he puts into sequence on how much time a rider has.
Yeah, for sure. We had a meeting this morning talking about the condition. We've been waiting the wind for a few days in Tarifa. It's not common. Normally we know we have poniente or tropical wind kicking in every day. And yeah, it was a bit weird this week, and that's why we're running out of time for the event. So yeah, we're just looking for the best possibility to having a result here and run the hit.
Looks like he's trying to go for something.
Yeah, come on. Oh, just a backside free.
Backside free with a pop to blind at the end. It's going to count as a backside free.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to be in the 3-point average. Something that's a low scoring trick. Anyway, he's in first position so far. So still, Maxime needs to get a 7.14. But I can hear, if I'm not mistaken,
I think
is that an AP at the moment?
Yeah, the win is cancelled. The hit is cancelled.
Yeah, so far we have that heat is cancelled. I think, we have 1, 2, so probably that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, excuse me. So I reckon the 6 tricks will count and there'll be 1 trick for each more, if I'm not mistaken. Still, our race director is going to have to confirm that. The wind in Tarifa, Tarifa, wind capital of Europe, one of the wind capitals of the world. This is my hometown and I'm getting very angry at the wind gods here. I wanted to just send some nice wind, constant, even if it's, we can do without 1 day of sun, but we want the wind.
Yeah, you're right. Like we all know this place as one of the windiest places in Europe. We all come here to train, and we all know, as a kiteboarder, we all know this place. And yeah, to don't have wind for the competition, it's a bit sad. But we still have one full afternoon and 1 day tomorrow. So yeah, let's have the finger crossed. Maybe we haven't been so lucky the rest of the week, but hopefully it's gonna come today and tomorrow.
Yeah, luck will come our way, I reckon. Val, taking the opportunity of having you in the booth here. You're one of the very progressive riders. You are up in the top spots of the competitions. How do you see how this kite sport has evolved? Especially the new school twin tip freestyle. How it's got the maneuvers you guys are pulling now. I couldn't even imagine them with the days I competed.
Yeah, like the day I started kiteboarding as well. Like when I was looking at my brother and you guys, my goal was to do the tricks we're doing, the handle pass, like the big front mob, big high front mob, and then we've been seeing a constant evolution on the tricks. The boots as well was one of the first evolution of the sport, with like adding power and quality on the tricks. We get more into quality over quantity, and the next improvement we had was to pass from the 7 minutes format to this format we have right now. Like 7 tricks, each rider have to jump each after one, and with this format we really see like the quality we have on the tricks, and like back in the day we were seeing like maybe 1 or 2 double handle pass on one hit on the finals, and maybe like on the first one you need to be stick like 3 or 4 doubles just to win your heat, you know. So like the level of the like already on the first one is incredible, you know. Like if you see so many double handle pass like that we're not used to see so many before. And yeah, we also see grabs. We also see like Carlos Mario that really pushed the level of freestyle cabling.
Yeah, baby.
Bebe, this guy, I think he didn't lost the heat since 2 years or something like that, freestyle. And yeah, this guy is incredible, and I think he really pushed the level, you know, like with this kind of guys like Aaron used to do back in the days, like really pushing the level. I know like some riders getting close to him. And yes, I think it's because of people like Bebe or Aaron, of those guys that really like the level is increasing. He's push. He shows the world that it's possible to do some stuff, you know. And when you know it's possible, then you go for it.
Yeah, definitely. Nothing is impossible. That's the way, and everything is possible here. Looks like the wind's coming back. I mean, also one of the things that really impressed me yesterday, Val, for example, we've been mentioning that high heat of Adildi, the, you know, first round getting 9.5 slim nines, you know, getting 9 scores and 8-point average scores on such, you know, we're talking like 14 knot winds. And then also in Gran Canaria, very similar scenario, exactly the same thing happened. I think also the equipment really helps. I think the equipment has allowed the sport to evolve as well. You know the safety systems, how accessible it is to everybody to be able to kite now, and especially, you know, on the twin tip movement, the sea kites, the sea shapes, how the kites slack out for so long, really does help you guys and girls perform the moves that you do these days.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you know better than me how the kites were working when you start kiteboarding, like no deeper, nothing. And yeah, for sure, like we've seen a big improvement onto the material, and all the kites we're using now, they really like at the high performance. We still like to use, most of us really like to use sea kite for freestyle, but we also see a lot of like hybrid kites, you know, like sea kite with bridle, that really helps on the light wind. And as well, like our sea kites are, I think, way more performant than it used to be back in the days. And even on light winds, for sure we need a bit of wind to perform our tricks. But yeah, like you say, like Adui on 40 knots, like really taking some speed and getting high to perform these tricks. For sure the equipment has something to see with that, but yeah, the riders also matter for sure.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you know, as they say, it's always the Indian, never the arrow. You know, the arrow does help if it's nice and straight, but still, you got to know how to shoot it if you want to get that prey. But yeah, I mean, this is really good right now. It looks like the wind's coming back. You can see our race directors. Flagman. You can see he's got his hand on the flags now. So we're going to see who is going to be going in the water. Val, it looks like. Sorry, just 1 second. Yeah. So it looks like, yeah, there you go. Okay, so just getting the information in there. So heat number 4 is going to be on the water again. I think they only have one more trick attempt.
Last trick attempt. So yeah, Kimo and James are going to have one more chance as well. And Nico as well, for sure, because he did his backside free just before they cancel the heat. So yeah, it's an interesting moment. Like I like when the heat is not decided even after the last trick attempts. And that's what is cool with our format, you know, like there is a ranking right now, like Nico is first, Maxim's second, and Kimo third. For James it's going to be impossible finally to get on the top 2, but for Kimo, Maxim and Nico, everything is still possible. So yeah, that's what is really exciting about this format, you know, really watching the tactics that they have. Like if I was Kimo, you know, because Maxim and Nico is gonna jump after him, I would go for the first one, because then like both Nico or Maxim can overtake him.
Yeah.
But you also need to land your tricks, you know, like if you go too big and you don't give you the chance to be on the top 2, then it doesn't make sense.
I mean, as they say, it's not over until the fat eggie sings. So
exactly.
they got to make sure they land it, because you can go for the biggest trick that can land you a 9, but if you don't land it, it's a big old 0.
Exactly. But yeah, it's a world championship, and yeah, you want to see clean landings, not bad check, and That's why.
Yeah, so first up is going to be James. So it looks like I can see the flag sequence. So we've just had AP down for 1 minute, and then we're going to have the red flag come up, 3 minutes, and then go into the heat sequence. Coming in first will be James, then Kimo, then Nicolas Delmas, and then Massim Chablos. So they have one more trick attempt. This has been the eternal heat. It's going to be going on for 2 days already.
Yeah, I used to be in that heat, the heat that is cancelled and like stand by, but yeah, I'm happy and not in this heat. It's like such a big pressure. Like you need to be ready all day, waiting for the wind. As soon as you see a gust, you think it's gonna start. So you like pressure level is never totally done.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's really tiring to be at this position.
Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, this is heat number 4. James first is for his last trick. So we're looking for Robert James on the ozone kite.
So it's red flag up right now, so
yeah,
I think
so
it's
red
starting.
flag. So we're just, as you see, everybody, look, this is what we want to see though. A little bit more blue skies, like we were mentioning before. A couple more bikinis would be happy, especially getting a little bit chilly up here. But hey, we can't ask for everything. If we're going to ask for something, I want it to be windy today.
Yeah, I reckon like all the waters were waiting for the wind the whole week. So yeah, if we can have at least some wind, would be perfect. And yeah, for the bikini, maybe tomorrow is gonna come.
You never know. You never know. We can only ask. We can only dream. But yeah, there you have it. This is a really nice image as well because you see twin tips, you see foils, you see strapless. Val, we've been mentioning quite a lot that all the different disciplines at one event, showing the public what kiting in general is. It's a cool concept.
Yeah, exactly. When you start kiteboarding, first for sure you go on a twin tip when you learn. But then there is so many possibilities that this sport is offering you. You can go foiling, you can go on the wave with the surfboard, you can do some strapless freestyle, you can do some freestyle on a twin tip, and I think that's why like people like my father that used to kite since the beginning, they're really still really passionate about this sport because there is so many disciplines that this sport is offering you. And yeah, my dad, for example, is so into foiling right now. Me, I'm still motivated on freestyle, but when the waves are good, I just take a surfboard and I just go ride some waves. And yeah, that's what it makes this sport so incredible. Like you have so many aspects, and you can just like have fun on the water with so many boards, like twin tip, surfboard, foil, whatever.
Just have fun, get a big garage, fill it with toys, and enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of. And as well, like I've been guiding for more than 10 years, and when I tried foil for the first time, I was feeling like a beginner, because it's like a new thing that you never feel. Like the sensation of foiling, like flying over the water, it's something totally different that I've never been doing before.
Yeah, it is a different sensation, and I think that's really important to try all the different disciplines and the different aspects of this sport, because it really does allow you to feel all the different ways to fly over, in, head first, feet into the water. I mean, this is, watermen, water women, this is what we want, this is what we love, this is our passion, and, to be able to have that and represent that at my local beach here in Tarifa and have everybody here at the Tarifa Kite Pro in front of the Bibo Beach House by Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia himself, world-renowned chef, yesterday came here and he never tried kiting before, had a quick lesson with Liam and Matthew out there, very hooked, and I know he's going to be tuning into the stream because he's going to be wanting to see more of this, and we want to see him on the water very soon as well. Okay, so we're trying to get this one on a roll. Let me just squeeze my head around there. Is it a green flag?
Yeah,
it is a green flag. So it looks like James will be coming up first. I'm not sure.
But I'm not sure if it's in the water. Yeah.
Just trying to get some information. Just trying to get some information in right now if James is in the water, because it's his turn. I can't see him on the camera.
I think James is. No, this is Cocoluto.
Yeah, so that's the guys from the next heat. So we're looking for James. Let's see where he is. Okay, that looks like Karim.
Looks like he's not on the water.
He's not on the water. Yeah. Okay, so that was switch stance there. So I think that was a slim 5 there from Karim.
Yeah. So yeah, Kimo went for his slim 5. So let's see if he got the 6.8. I don't think he's gonna get the 6.8, but maybe the 5.2 that he needs to be second on Tom 2. and yeah, so let's see.
Yeah, it was pretty close. Kite was a little bit high. He didn't extend as much as possible. He needs a 5.2 to go into that second position. But let's not forget that both Maxime and Nicolas, they have and still have a trick attempt. So they'd have to do a pretty bad performance or a crash to lose those positions now.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, as I said, like the first position matter. And if Kimo overtake Max, then Max gonna have to choose between going for the first place or going for the second place, and it's a big risk because if you miss the first place, you also miss the second place, then you're out of the event, you know. So let's see how he's gonna play.
They're going to be interesting to see how he plays. I mean, so he is coming towards us now. So that's Nicolas Dalmos. 3-1. 3-1-7. I think he didn't commit to that one. You could see how he did the first rotation and then decided halfway through to go to the second. I think on moves like that, you really have to go, okay, I'm doing a 3-1-7 from the start.
Yeah, you see, like he missed the bar. Maybe his kite was a little bit too high, then he couldn't pass the bar a second time. But no, Max in the 7.1 to be first. I think he's going to go for the backside 7 or the frontside 7, but looks like he's going to go for the backside 7. Yeah, he's going for it. And he's dumping it. Woo! Yeah, I think he's going to get it. So I think Max is going to get first, yeah.
Yeah, that was a high score. Really nice. You see how he got that backside 3-1-7, got the speed, got the spin, really horizontal spin there. Backside 3-1-7, what is that? That's a Rayleigh. You execute a Rayleigh, then you go into a backside 720 handle pass. So you're passing the bar behind your back 2 times, coming in with speed, landing, managing to press that tail. Almost got the butt check, but saved it really well there. That's going to be at least in the 8s, and yet there you go. So 8.17 there for Maxime Chablot. So he takes first position, so he's going to be first in that heat. After that, Nicolas Delmas coming with a 24.56 in second position. So those boys will be going through to the next round. Unfortunately, Kimo and Robert James not making it through to the next round, but solid performance from them, and great to see the Thai kid here for the first event.
Yeah, like the Thai kid, it was his first event. It's good to have seen him on the water, and Kimo as well was not that far. You know, it's already scored a 22.3. So yeah, you've got it's already got a good hit. For sure, it's hard, you know, when you start competing against these guys, like to beat them at your first event, but. You know, experience as well matter, but yeah, Kimo was not. He had a good hit, and I think we put his talk about this one. He had like a 6.9 as a big score, so it's a good sign.
There you can see his coach Fabio there on the shore. He's definitely, you know, Fabio giving him the insight, making sure he knows what he has to do. So Maxime Chablot, you know, world competitor in various different sports, so he, you know, understands competition pressure, understands what that kind of thing is out. And there you have it. You know, there's the scores on the board, very close between Maxime and that man on the screen there, Nicolas Dalmas. Solid performance from both of them. Here we have High Fives and Shaka's F1 teammates, so very happy for both of them. And then Mahmoud, very close. I think that last slim wasn't what he wanted, because he needed a 5.1, so unfortunately didn't get the trick he wanted. But even so, Nicolas Dalmas got a very good last trick, so I think it wouldn't have made it anyway. And then we have James. So solid performance there from the Swiss rider and the French rider, 2 F1 team riders going through. And coming up next, we have heat number 5. So we've got Gournay, we've got Rodriguez, we've got Roslin, we've got Kokoluta. This is going to be an action-packed heat.
Yeah, it's going to be a good hit. Kokoluta is really incredible this year. He's really consistent. Aaron Rosley as well is a good rider. Juan Rodriguez, like a new Colombian rider, is really impressive. And Lazar, French guy as well, rookie. And yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting hit.
So here we have Gournay front and center on the screen. I haven't seen much of this guy. You know, I know he's a very good rider, very impressive, super powerful. So we got the wrong heat up there. So that's heat 6. So we're still in heat 5. We get the right photos. I know we want to see heat 6, but let's get to heat 5 first. Gournay in the water, making it all the way out to the box, and he's going to be performing his first maneuver. There you go. That's the right images there. Look at the boys. They can see the smiles. All of us are happy because finally here at the GKA Kite World Cup in Tarifa, it's windy.
Yeah, it's windy, and I think we just missed on the back the tricks of Lazar. He went for, I think, a backside 3, but he just had a Rayleigh. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a really low score for his first tricks. But yeah, he still have 6 more to go.
Yeah, still got 6 attempts. I mean, sometimes competitions are harder because when you miss your first trick, yesterday talking to Alex, sometimes he even considered it's worse to do something like that and not crash because it's kind of like, ah, man, I missed it. I've really missed an opportunity because I didn't go for it. It's harder to get that mindset and to get back into the sync or competition.
Yeah, exactly. As well when you go for double pass, you know, like for example, if you go for backside 7 and just go for backside 3, you know, then it's not a crash. You still got a score out of it, but it's not the score that we were expecting. And yeah, Juan Rodriguez for double attack, nice execution, last landing, and yeah, it's putting some point, you know, just at the beginning. It's good as well to start with like a solid score like this, like a good 6 to open the hit.
Yeah, he's going to be penalised for that one a little bit. He was forcing the rotation. You see, he didn't come off of the water with the amount of speed he probably wanted to, and that handle pass, you could see the board was a little off axis. It wasn't horizontal, so judges are going to deduct. I mean, this is the World Tour. It's all about the details. Have the top judges there, and as you can see, like you said, still a solid score of 6.47, but you know the average for that one's going to be around a 7. So yeah, obviously they're also taking into the account that conditions are hard. So really good to see how the judging panel adjusts everything, every little detail to be able to give you guys the best score possible on the best maneuvers.
Yeah, for sure. Like there is an average score for every tricks, and as well, you know, like the first scoring tricks on every hit, it's
the base.
The base on the hit, and then like the base on this one. And wow, that was a huge bagma for Aaron, but unfortunately crashed. This guy was too low. And yeah, let's see what Coco is gonna go for. Recon from blind mob.
Yeah, he always opens with that front blind map. I want to see it with a grab. You know, Cocoluzzo, like you're saying, really impressive this year. How his level has gone up during the year. You know, in Gran Canaria, performing one of the highest scoring tricks with a KGB5 grab to blind. Really like how.
All right, big congratulations here, Nico Delmas, Maxime Chablot, both advancing through that round. Guys, you've been waiting for this heat for quite a long time. We finally managed to complete it. It seemed to take forever, but you did a great job, Nico.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, super stoked to go to round 3. Finally, there's win. We waited for 3 days now, so yeah, super stoked. Yeah, it was a really tough heat. I think I already had longer heats than this, but that was like special because we got until the last trick. We did no wind, and then they canceled a few tricks, and then we did again. Wind died again. And yeah, we were all the time like this guy in front and just a few points behind. And last trick I got a really good gust and managed to pull a trick through. So
it was tight, but you guys did really well. What do you think about the wind conditions? Do you think it's going to improve for this afternoon?
It's really gusty right now, but the forecast says pretty much this, that it's picking up now and should hold on for the rest of the afternoon. I think we had a few gusts this morning, coming in, going away, coming in, going away. But it looks like now it's in.
Yeah, let's hope so. Nico?
Yeah, let's pray for it, huh?
Yeah. All right, guys, thank you very much. Congratulations, and we'll see you after the next round. Thank you. Back to Joe. Thanks.
There we had down on the beach camera there, you could see the boys, they're happy, you know, Maxime Chablot and Nicolas Delmas, the two winners from that last heat, F1 riders, very happy with their performance there. Okay, so we saw there a couple of moves while the interview was going on. We saw from Cocoluzzo, solid 315, not quite getting landed and then bounced out, so that's a crash. Then also, if I'm not mistaken, Val, what do we see from Lazar?
We've seen a head attack from Lazar, but as well as a big butt check. I don't know how the judge is going to score that. As a crash maybe, and this is Juan Rodriguez going for Hinterberger 5. So yeah, it was a good one, but as you've seen, he didn't really do a proper Riley before, so his score is not going to be as high as it could be, like we've seen yesterday from Posito, like you know, the big Hinterberger Bob 5 is like a huge Riley before. That's what we like to see, but still he's landing 2 tricks already, got a 12.8, and the others are still at 0 with 2 crashes from Lazar and 1 crash from Aaron. Let's see if Aaron can go back on his. It's always hard, you know, to start tricks. You hit with a crash, you know, because you know you just like miss one attempt.
Yeah, it's hard. It's starting a heat on a crash is always, it demotivates, but competition and competitors is to be headstrong and to be able to get through those hard moments, work through it, and make it happen. And like you said, we were saying there about Juan Rodriguez. Actually, interesting fact, he's from Colombia, and this is the first event we've had 3 Colombians in. It's really good to see how the world tour is getting bigger and better, more nations, like almost 30 nations in here, 90 riders all together. It's really good to see such a following, and like we can see there Juan Rodriguez, unfortunately on that maneuver, not getting maybe the score he wanted. So still good score though, 6.33. He did have a clean landing. The Hinterbergers, it's a hard one to judge because technically, really, you do have to do that rally and then go into that back mode rotation, kind of like the same way as the hard attack, where you go into the rally and then with that S-bend rotation. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it looks bad. It's a hard one.
Yeah, for sure. Like for me, proper Hinterberger is when you do like a proper rally before, and like you see some riders. Every rider got his own style and their own execution, but yeah. For sure, if you do a proper rally before, the judges are going to consider that as a better execution and you're going to get more points out of it. And Cocolute is going for the backside 7 this time, stomping it.
That was huge. That was huge. That was really big. I mean, still a little bit off axis, a little bit over rotated, but considering the conditions here, super hard maneuver. That's a Rayleigh backside 317. Going to be in the high 8s, I reckon, because of the conditions and the style. So it's going to be interesting to see. That's a hell of a second trick for Cocoluto.
Yeah, you just missed the backside 5, which is the same tricks category. And okay, I missed my backside 5. I'm just going to go for the backside 7 this time, even higher. So that's what we're saying about having like your head strong, And 7.73. Maybe the kite was a bit high, but it's still like nice landing, nice execution. And yeah, you have one big score already. It's going to go for the first slowly, I think.
It's good to see that. That's an interesting fact. So 7.73 for that backside 317. Let's analyze that a little bit as it comes to the judges. The way the judges judge is the highest scoring judge and the lowest scoring judge is taken away, and then the average from the other 3 judges is the score you get of the trick. You could see there, obviously it was a very good move. It had the height, but as you mentioned, kite position was a little high. Not quite as much Rayleigh as maybe we would like to see. And then, as I was mentioning, that off axis, it wasn't a pure horizontal 7 there. So obviously all those little details deduct the points and gets them to a 7.73. But hey, still 7.73. It's a pretty high score.
Yeah, as you say, like the execution really matter this day. And if you have your kite going up a little bit, it changes your rotation. You're a bit off axis, as you say, not really straight in the air. And yeah, that's why he didn't score like a I8 or something, but still a really technical trick, still landing it properly. So yeah, 7.73. And Juan Rodriguez is gonna go for backside 7 as well. Nice one. So let's see how the judge is gonna score this one, because the kite was lower, but he was as well lower. So let's see if the judge is like gonna put more points for the kite position or for the amplitude.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting. I think that's a really good aspect for the guys watching and girls watching the stream here. You've just had the same maneuver from two different people. Let's analyze that. Cocoluta's was a little bit bigger, kite position was higher. Juan was a little bit lower, but his kite position was a little bit better. I think Cocoluta got a little bit more travel. Juan was a little bit more collected. It's going to be very close, but I'm going to say Juan Rodriguez is a little bit less there.
Yeah, it was a little bit less because, yeah, for sure, like, if it was, like, Cocoluta had really way more amplitude than Juan, but still, like, they have a really common score. Huh? I think he got a 7.5 and Cocoluta 7.7, so just a 0.2 difference. Was pretty similar, like, the scores were pretty close.
Good to see the judges there. You can see they're really on point there. They're marking the difference. Small differences. I mean, you can win a heat by 0.01, so it's important to see those differences. So as we said, Cocoluta was a little bit higher kite position, but more power, more amplitude. Juan Rodriguez was a little bit lower kite, but still didn't get that travel that the judges are scoring. So obviously travel is an important matter here today. And then also we saw a hard attack there from Aaron as well. little bit low, got a bit of a sketchy landing there. Going to be interesting to see how he was scored on that one. Let's see. Score's not quite in yet. Not going to be a high scoring maneuver, that one. And here we have Cocoluto, just a normal KGB, not too happy about that. I say a normal KGB. KGB is still, back roll rotation with a backside free in it. You have to really invert, extend that leg and fall down. Interesting facts about the KGB, Val. You have one of the nicest KGB 5s out there. There's kind of two different types. Some people do the more inverted, kind of similar to the slim, and then there's other people who do the full rotation and then a very flat spin. Can you explain a little bit of the difference here for us?
Yeah, as you say, you have to do like a full back roll, then like stop the rotation and do a backside free, basically, for the KGB. And yeah, some riders are really like doing the rotation like completely, as Paola does or Jerome, They totally do like a full back roll, they invert the rotation for a backside free. And some riders, they just like tweak in the air to change the rotation, as I do a little bit, as Cocoluto does with the legs up. And I think just two different styles you got and how you learn it, like when you first learn your KGB, if you learn how to tweak in the air, then you just do it like this and it become natural to do this way. And sometimes, well, if you add grab, for sure you're gonna force wait a bit more before like changing the rotation. So then it also changes the movement you have. And yeah, unfortunately for Cocoluto, he just had the KGB. He went for the 5 for sure, and he didn't get the guess he was looking for. And yeah, I think, as we said, the wind's going to be up and down the whole day, so yeah, I really have to play with the gust and jump at the right time. And this is Juan going from slim 7 maybe, slim 5. Juan. Yeah.
Oh, that hurt. You can see he really literally landed on top of the chop there. Slim 5, like you say, maybe going for that slim 7. It's interesting there. So the slim is pretty much the front loop version of a KGB. So it's a front roll with a backside inside of it as well. So it's really good to see the difference. One of the things with the KGBs and the slims also, especially when you're going for those, more than just the free rotation, you're going for the 5s and you're going for the 7s. I think the inversion helps because you actually fall down and are able to spin your body as you're coming down. If you want to do the whole front or back roll first and then the spin, adds a lot more style, but definitely a lot more difficulty.
Yeah, exactly. Like your legs really help you to add this second rotation on just this 5, when you go from the slim to the slim 5. And as for the KGB, depending on the rider, some riders are really pushing the front wall really far before tweaking and changing the rotation. Some are doing the slim with the legs straight up. And it's two different styles, and both are nice to me. There are some riders like doing really nice slim chains, totally inverted. Some others doing really nice, like we used to say, the NIS not inverted slim chains, like Alex does. And it's pretty sick for me as well. And yeah, we've seen the slim 5 from Rodriguez. He was really inverted, and I think he wanted to go for the 7, but yeah, he was not high enough. He had the rotation for sure. His leg was going down, and he could have done the 7, but he was missing some height in this one. So that's why he just stopped to the 5. And this is something as well you see for some riders. For Cocoluto, I think in his first tricks he wanted to go for the backside 7. You see, he didn't have the height, so he went for the 5. And this is like the kind of thing, like your brain is telling you super fast. You have to analyze when you're in the air. And you see, I'm not high enough, so I just go for the 5. It's like something that goes so quick in your mind, and you have to decide. And yeah, it's funny to watch. How the riders really adapt, like at the last minute. I'm going for and so riders I know, as soon as they take off, I know if they're gonna go for the 7 or the 5. Like because you just know how they ride, how it works.
Yeah, and the body position, like a lot of the time, we're looking for Juan Rodriguez. Juan Rodriguez is the guy we're looking for here. So like you were saying, the body position is super important, and some of the maneuvers are actually landed on the takeoff. Because if you don't take off correctly, no matter how much you force or how much you push it, you got no chance.
Yeah, and like the pop is what's going to decide your tricks, basically. Like every rider is trying to pop harder as they can. When it's flat water, it's easy to pop. When it's choppy, you see sometimes like the board like sliding a little bit, not really going onto the water to create like a huge pop. So yeah, this is really interesting to see. Like